the day I fought a goose in public.
It was a beautiful day in the park.
The sun was shining, the birds were tweeting, and I, Katie, was sitting on a park bench in my jammies eating a bagel and feeling peaceful. That is until a large Canada goose with glowing evil eyes came up behind me, stared directly into my soul for about 5 seconds, and then ran away. So I did what any normal person would do. I got up, threw my bagel on the ground, and started chasing him. Now I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you just pick up the bagel and run after it? Well, there are 2 reasons.
1. I wasn't wearing pants.
You think I'd run around a park in my underwear after a talking goose? No, I don't think so. And 2, I was kind of in a food coma. Okay, 3 reasons. 3, I couldn't believe my eyes. A talking goose. What kind of world do we live in now? Anyway, as I stumbled through the park trying to find the goose, I saw a group of toddlers pointing in my direction. So I waved at them, and they all screamed, "Look, it's the lady who chased the goose." Which was not actually true because they hadn't seen me chase the goose yet. They had only seen me, a disheveled woman in pajamas running through the park screaming, "Get back here, you feathery beast!" I demand a rematch. It was at that moment I realized I might be the crazy one in this situation, but I quickly pushed those thoughts out of my head and continued running. As I rounded the corner by the gazebo, I saw the goose had landed in the middle of a yoga class and was loudly honking, "You can't sit with us!" The yoga instructor tried to stand up to him, but the goose simply raised an eyebrow, took a step forward and said, "No, you stay down there. We have places to be." Honestly, he was being really rude. As I got closer, I could hear the snapping of many phones as people were filming the goose. So I stopped to take a video myself. As soon as I pulled out my phone, the goose took off again, flying over the heads of the yoga class, startling everyone. And I took off after him, dodging people and weaving through the crowds, all while trying to keep my composure and maintain my dignity. But really, my dignity had flown out the window about 5 minutes ago and was now taking a leisurely stroll through the nearby cornfield. At this point, the chase had become a full-on sprint. The goose was leading me on a merry chase through the park, and I was determined to get him back. We ran past the tennis courts, where a group of geese were watching intently. Past the playground, where a bunch of kids were staring, some in awe, others yelling, "Go, Katie, go!" And past the rose bushes where I tripped and fell, scraping my knee on the pavement.
I don't remember how long we ran for, but eventually the goose began to slow down.
And I could feel myself getting closer and closer. I could hear his ragged breathing and the flapping of his wings as he struggled to maintain his lead. Then suddenly, he made a sharp turn and headed straight for the large fountain in the center of the park. At this point, I was so exhausted that I didn't have the energy to stop. I simply lunged forward, hoping to grab onto his tail feathers and pull him back. But as I reached out, my foot slipped on the wet pavement, and the next thing I knew, I was in slow motion. I tumbled through the air, flailing wildly, before landing with a giant splash in the fountain. When I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by water, leaves, and a very smug goose who stood at the edge of the fountain looking down at me. With a look of pure evil, he dropped my bagel, which had somehow survived the fall, right in front of me, almost like it was an evil offering or something. And then he walked away slowly, shaking his feathers and leaving me soaked and humiliated in the fountain. As I sat there dripping water onto the pavement, I couldn't help but smile. Maybe this was all a silly goose chase, but it was the most fun I'd had in weeks.
At least until I realized I was still in my pajamas and now I was soaked.
But hey, at least I got the best revenge ever, ruining his favorite bagel. And that's when I learned, never trust a bird in a bow tie. Wait, come back. Don't go anywhere. Oh, look, it's our goose from earlier. He's so cute. He's wearing a tiny red bootie and he's honking. So cute. So if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!